Hi out there in YouTube land. Olivia had to go out of town, so she hasn't got time to work on the burn on the Glarry body yet. And she's still trying to decide what to put on it, so there's still time to give us your suggestions. But in the meantime, while it's apart, I do some work on the neck here. For the most part, the frets are in good shape. There's no fret sprout that you feel coming up and down. They feel pretty decent. So as far as the frets, I'll check the level on them and round them off a little bit on the ends, maybe. As you can see, I'll just round them off a little bit here, maybe, and maybe give them a little polish on the fret. Just make sure they're all level. But for the most part, they're in really decent shape. I did notice on the back there is a rough spot right in here I want to get rid of. Looks like some dings, and you can see sanding marks. Some roughness here. I don't know if I'll get rid of all that or not, but I'm going to try to smooth it out. Here on the turners, there's some spot that looks like it's got something on it, or the finish is not very good on the back of these tuners, so I'm going to take them off and see if I can just clean them up, polish them up a little bit. As far as doing anything to the neck, as far as finish goes, I don't know yet. I'll see what happens when I try to clean these up, because if you watched the body part of the video that we've gotten done so far, it had a really thick oil-based, I'll say, finish on it, and the neck does not look that thick. And since I don't know what kind of finish is, I don't know if I want to spray anything on this without taking it down to the wood, and I'm not sure I want to take this all the way down to the wood to finish on the neck. So that's still a decision I want to make yet. So today I'll be taking these tuners off to clean and polish them up, do a little work on the frets here, and see if I can smooth that back out and see where we're going to go from there. Some of the tools I'm going to need to be doing this for the fret work. I'll be putting these over here when I polish the tops and the edges. These are protect the fretboard. A fret rocker to man, that's not, oh, there we go. To see if there's any fret leveling need to be done. Truss rod wrench to flatten this out, to if there is any leveling need to be done to them. And my homemade fret leveling tool. What you have to do is put it on between the frets, or like this, and see if there's any gap anywhere. And this one there is, so it will need to be leveled out before any fret work is done as far as leveling. I can see a gap between the fretboard and the straight edge over here. For this tool, you can buy these. They're pre-made. They're really expensive. So what I done, I went to Walmart and bought 2 of these, checked them, made sure they are really straight and everything, and just cut out the notches for the frets. Measured where they need to be, cut out notches, and made the tool this way. I have one for guitars for 2 different scale lengths. I hear a squeaking or something coming from somewhere. But it will not work on the bass neck, which we have here. Of course, I'll be using some fine steel wool to polish them up, some tape to protect the wood, some polish if I can find it somewhere around here, and a Dremel tool with a polishing wheel to kind of polish the edges, maybe the tops a little bit. Of course, my trusty screwdriver for taking tuning keys off and all that. So first thing we'll start with is we're going to level the neck and make sure it's all straight. So we take our tool, and while you're doing this you can check to see if there's any twisting, anything like that in the board. I do it from 2 or 3 locations along the board, and since it is high, I see a gap on this end. Well, if you hold it down on this end, of course the gap's going to be on this end. And it looks like I have 1/16 to an 1/8 inch gap there. So I'll take the truss rod and let's see, I think I need to go this way. Let's find out. Turn it. You don't want to turn these very tight. I see a bird in my workshop. That's what I heard, I bet. And this one with the Glarry is a little bit of a challenge to get that on there. Very good. That Allen wrench in there where it's supposed to go. Let's go ready. Okay, that's pretty darn straight from what I can tell. Notice I always support this, because if you lay it down flat, which this one is relatively flat anyway, but if you got much of an angle, if you put pressure on it, you could break that. This neck on the Glarry, there's no scarf joint or nothing here, so this looks like one solid piece of wood on this side. Apparently what they did, they built that, hollowed it out, put the truss rod in, then glued the fretboard on top. We should do our fret leveling before anything else. So let's take our rocker tool, and you go 3 frets at a time. I do it in different spots. All the frets make good contact. There's no rocking. Oh, everything's good there. So go step up 1 more fret. Little bit of rock in this one spot right here. So what I want to do is take me a black Sharpie and mark that area right on top. Pretty good. I want to keep my finger there so I know that's my next set of frets to play with. But if you notice this tool, you've got, let's just lay that pin right there pointing at it so that way I'll have both hands free. You notice this tool has this long flat edge, and then you got these like 4 different ones. Because you have different spacings on the fretboard, you want to do 3 frets at a time. As you get down, the frets get closer together, you'll use a different straight edge. Like down here, you'd use the shorter side. Really handy tool. Unbeknownst to me, my darn overhead camera died again. This camera has a habit of shutting off on me without beeping or anything, and I don't know. So I believe the last part that it saw was using the fret rocker. So what I did, in case it didn't see it, I'm pretty sure it did, is I went along and marked the high frets with the Sharpie. I had one down here that was pretty bad. I went through and leveled them with my leveler, sanded them down all even, crowned them with this file here. It's got a concave to it to make them round again. Then I polished them up. I rounded off the edges of the frets with the file. I used a little file in here in the set I have over here, and this as well went along the edges like this to round off these corners a little bit. With the file, I taped the edges off, ran a bead of tape, folded it over, then went through with this. Next step was to take these, some polishing stone, whoops, and my Dremel with a polishing disc on it, and polish these up real well. As you can see, they're a lot shinier than they were. There's no rough spots, anything. So the frets are in really good shape now. I'll get a picture, close-up picture, and show you the before and after. As far as the tuning keys, these are actually good keys. They're tough. They're or they seem to me like they are. There's no slop in them anywhere. They're good and tight. So as long as they hold tune, they'd be good. And I got them to polish up a little bit. You can see this was the one behind this one. This was in this location here, and this one was here. And this one was in about the same shape as this one. I'll get a better picture. I don't know if the camera is actually focusing on that or not. It looked pretty close to how rough this one looked, and I did get it to shine better, but let's see if you can tell. There's still some roughness in the finish on it. So I think I will go ahead and check guitar finish. I know they're expensive. You have to buy them instead of like a guitar as a set. You buy these individually. And might go ahead and replace them with something better. Since we're doing this project, we're going to be burning the body. Make it a better bass in the process as well. I might even go for a bone or a Graphtec nut on it. I'm not sure yet. I wasn't going to spend a lot of money on it, but you know, it's going to be a special project. I think no matter what Olivia decides to put on, it's going to look good. I think it's going to look great, actually, and so I might, instead of polishing these up, go ahead and replace them. I'll decide later. The roughness in the back, it's all smooth now. I got that out with some steel wool. There's still, you can see sanding marks and stuff. I've not decided to strip this down or anything. I'd like to put a different coat on and smooth it out, but not knowing exactly what finish they used on the neck, how thick it is. I know that one smelled like automotive finish. I have not, you know, as I was sanding this, picked up a smell on it or anything yet. And I see some discolorization here. Above my finger there. And a funny looking finish spot there, so I might go ahead and try to use a oil-based finish on top of this, like a lacquer or enamel. I have a feeling they used a lacquer on it, but the problem is mixing different types of paint on top of each other, you run into incompatibility issues. That's why I stripped the body completely down. And plus, if you want to burn it, you need wood instead of, you don't want any finish on there. So that is how the standing with the neck so far. Frets are in good shape. It straightens out good. I'll be deciding later whether I put new tuners on it or I put these back on it. So next video might be more on the neck, I don't know. Keep an eye on what's coming next. I'll let you know as soon as I just make a decision, or as more work progresses on this, I'll be videoing that and update then too. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good one. Bye.